I have a question. I'm going to start with Mike Ryan. Mike, what'd you have for dinner last night?
What did I have for dinner? Oh, I cooked a Turkish street cart turkey bowl.
Oh, very nice. Jessica, what'd you have for dinner last night?
Lehman made me chicken thighs and Brussels sprouts, carrots, and I think that was it.
Chicken
Rice.
thighs, the most underrated part of the chicken. Roy, what'd you have for dinner?
I baked the chicken breast and had carrots.
Okay. 2 for 2 on
Big
chicken.
carrot. A lot of bunnies here.
A
In
lot
the
of chicken and carrots, yeah. What you got?
I had a spaghetti and meat sauce.
Okay. You know what Noah Lyles had? He had the Bronzino! Oh, yeah. Nice and grilled, ladies and gentlemen, with a little squirt of lemon on it.
All right, I have questions because I think it was weird because normally
That setup?
Well, that was also odd.
No, it wasn't.
and he didn't tell us what he had for dinner.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, it doesn't
oddball, by the
matter.
way.
But so a lot of people enjoyed Noah Lyles' failure. I understand why, but that usually goes against the Olympic spirit. But I've seen an extra dash of spice from people that come from basketball.
Oh, really? Why? I hadn't noticed that at all. You know what I did notice? So if you don't know, Noah Lyles, who won the gold in 100 meters, which isn't his strong suit.
No.
We've been talking about this whole time.
But it does give him the distinction of fastest man in the world.
Absolutely. Now, the interesting thing is, even if you didn't know that 200 meter is his main event, right?
That's his wife. The other event is his mistress.
If you watch the 100 meter, that was his quote, Jessica. We didn't just come up with that. Like,
Oh, thank God.
I was going to say, how did you come up with that?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Now?
Siciliano did yesterday.
No, Siciliano didn't. That's what Noah Lyles said.
Noah Lyles
Oh.
did. Noah Lyles did a lot of talking.
Yep.
And before the race,
good
he
at
did a
that.
lot of meme posting. And this was, as Siciliano again pointed out yesterday, for all the Wheaties boxes,
Yes.
this was where he can become Carl Lewis. Especially if he backs up all that talk, he becomes one of the all-time greats.
Yes, he does. And so if you watched the 100 meter, you can tell because he is a notorious slow starter. And then as the race goes, he picks up speed and he closed out in the 100 meter. In the 200 meter heats, he lost in the semifinals, I believe. Yeah. But it doesn't matter. You got to be top 2 in order.
But he doesn't usually lose heats.
Yes.
And his face kind of said something
Yes.
that his mouth and fingers weren't.
So, but he runs the race, he comes in third, and then afterwards, we learn that he tested positive for the COVID-19 virus. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, he must have been so exhausted and everything. And they had to come out and bring out the wheelchair. Do we have a picture of the wheel? There he is. Oh my gosh, the poor guy. How did he even run the race? If you just watched the race, you would say, yeah, clearly there was something wrong with him. But here's the problem. This was him moments before the race, doing his signature, I'm the most energetic man in the world routine. Look at him, folks. He's jumping, he's prancing, he's dancing, arms out. He's basking in the energy of the thousands of people in the Stade de France.
Jennifer Love Hewitt, what are you waiting for? Spin.
Yeah.
I just want to point out that Noah Lyles is asthmatic. So
Yes.
being in the wheelchair is probably a condition of that.
Sure.
These are all super
Wheelchair for asthma?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, can you walk?
Tony, I'm mildly asthmatic.
run?
I am mildly asthmatic. I can tell you right now, nothing triggers an asthma attack like getting my ass beat. I swear to God. All of us, like if I lose at something, I can't breathe at all.
mildly.
Man, I'm telling you, that whole video of me with the jump shot, I had to hospitalize me.
You were in a wheelchair.
You dick.
Why didn't you tell us? We would have
not
completely dropped that whole bit, by the way, if you had just told us this was during an asthma attack.
It hit immediately after the ball released. It was amazing.
Right after it.
American Ninja Warrior,
here,
the same thing happened there?
Ninja Warrior, when I took that first step, all of a sudden the asthma started to creep up on me.
I mean, athletes know their body pretty well. And he was gassing himself up, not just right before the race, but sending out memes before the race. He oozes confidence. And he's certainly not oozing confidence at the end of that race. If he felt at all impacted by COVID-19 physically, don't you think he would have hedged a little bit? He didn't cut any of that stuff back. maybe he didn't know exactly until he got into it. I think it's a very fair thing. We're still learning so much about this virus. I do find it funny that we've gone from canceling the Olympics and shifting it a year to like, okay, yeah, you go ahead and race with it, track and field athlete.
And then he did an interview post race, and he had a mask on and on NBC with the mic, and I said, you got to trash that mic immediately, right?
Given what we know about the river, I don't think the safety of the athletes, the health and safety of the athletes is really as paramount as it used to be.
I was actually surprised to learn that there weren't any COVID protocols at this Olympics. I kind of assumed that if you tested positive, you wouldn't be allowed to participate, but apparently it's left up to the team if you can participate or not. So I think the obvious concern is, did he get anyone else sick? Because if he wants to compete, I think any one of us would try to if we were in that position. And these are all athletes that have had parts of their careers significantly impacted by COVID. Yeah. Not just if they were in the Tokyo Olympics, but they've had to, deal with all of these travel restrictions and getting sick and recovering and all of these things that we've all had to deal with too. So
worst timeline to be a professional athlete, especially in those non-revenue sports. It's a terrible time for them. And some athletes miss the Olympics altogether because the peak of their athleticism was 2020 and you shift to 2021 and there goes my shot.
Now, Jessica, you asked if he got anybody else sick, and there was actually a outbreak of people who were just sick to their stomach. And that's everybody who hates on USA basketball, you MFers. Double middle fingers. I'm not going to do it because we're live on air right now, but double middle fingers to all of you because, guys, we got the game. First of all, I know Noah Lyles was sick watching that. Oh, yeah.
It's so weird.
Oh, my God.
Hold on, wait. Can we just unpack this mindset? Because I think there's a lot of fans that are Noah Lyles haters because they're NBA supporters.
Goddamn
if you're an
right.
NBA supporter, you are either a Djokovic defender or you're a
Novak?
whatever his name is.
Joker. The Joker.
The Joker.
They're both
Just
jokers.
call
though.
it-
Which
yeah,
one?
yeah,
I knew I was gonna that up.
You had your bets.
Or you're
Okay.
an American NBA fan
Soft J.
rooting for Team USA. But I feel like there's
Popovich.
all these sort of branches coming off of this tree right now. I'm very confused what the
Yeah.
mindset is.
It's like Game of Thrones.
I get it. I understand why NBA folks and basketball folks wanted to go at Noah Lyles. I'm curious if Noah Lyles, after that failure, turned on the Serbia USA game and became the biggest Serbian basketball fan on the planet.
So we found the quote from Mr. Tebogo, who won the gold medal in the 200-meter race. This is what he had to say. Let's roll it if we could.
I think for me, I can't be the face of athletics because I'm not an arrogant or a loud person like Noah. So I believe Noah is the face of athletics.
Is that a Team USA teammate of Noah's right there next to him? Look at the face.
Kenny Bednarik.
I want to play that one more time because the quote itself is good for the audio audience, but for video, let's focus on Kenny Bednarik's face here.
Teammate / opponent, because they do race against each other, but they're also on Team USA together and do relays together.
Yep.
I think for me, I can't be the face of athletics because I'm not an arrogant or a loud person like Noah. So I believe Noah is the face of athletics.
That's a cosign.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a cosign.
Absolutely. One of my favorite stories is if you watch Kobe getting punched by Chris Childs.
Oh,
In
the throat.
Yeah, in the throat, right? If you watch that video, go back and watch Shaq. And it's Shaq is. There's so many fights I've seen where Shaq just comes in and starts shoving people, and when Chris Childs two-piece him, Shaq is just chilling back there. And I said that speaks volumes. It's the same thing with Caitlin Clark earlier this year when she got roughed up by Kennedy Carter. It's not that she got roughed up or whatever. It's nobody on her team even reacted or flinched. I said that speaks volumes, man. And so right there, my man not being offended in any way.
And finding the humor in it.
Oh my God, and it's the classiest put down ever, right? He's he literally asks, "You want to be the face of athletics?" I can't be because I'm not a jackass like Noah. That's why he's the face of
It
athletics.
was so matter of fact, and Bednarik has made comments about Noah Lyles in the past too, and just Noah Lyles obviously is known for his antics as well as for being incredibly speedy and fast. And I also heard yesterday he will not be competing in the 4x100 relay because of COVID. I think he like kind of announced it, but made it not definitive in his announcement. But it seems like that probably wouldn't be a good idea. So TBD if they're able to break that like 4x1 curse, because the men's 4x1 relay team hasn't been doing well lately.
I kind of feel for Noah Lyles as someone that I don't follow track and field outside of these major events, and I know the characters there, but he is the world's fastest man and somewhat a punchline at the exact same time. And I don't understand how you manage that. You're the world's fastest man and everyone's having a go at you for not being fast.
By his own doing, though.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's
yeah,
taking
we're all
a hack
looking
at
for
him.
who did. Like,
Exactly. Who did
He's got
this?
a lot of
run
fans.
into him in a
I
hot
think he
dog
has a lot of
costume.
fans too. Like, I don't think everyone hates him. I think he's got a lot of fans, and I think people do find his whole thing like pretty funny and entertaining. And like, look, we're talking about men's track for like an entire 30-minute segment today, and I think it's because he's such a huge personality. Like the guy who beat him in the 200 said.
But Jess, I want to say, like, if you think about Usain Bolt, who's always going to be the standard.
Yeah.
Like, we talked about him for damn near
We still
entire
talk about
shows.
him.
We still talk, like, because there's a way to do it that's fun and not aggravating.
Yeah, and it's not like he lacked for confidence either.
Yeah,
He
I mean,
was also though like one of the great. Like no one will ever do what he did. So
but
kind
I'm-
of sets
I'm
himself
saying-
apart from just one win in the Olympics. which is
beyond
what Noah Lyles has.
beyond the performance, though, like as a character, he like there's a positivity that Usain Bolt got at. Like you guys were losing to Usain Bolt and be like, oh, you know, he's all
They
right.
liked him too.
You know?
No, I agree with you. I think though, I'm just saying like I don't think it's a universal like we all hate this guy. I do see that he has a lot of fans.
Yeah, but people that follow the NBA certainly feel some kind of way about him. I know we're in the days of stand-up, and you have to feel really passionately about it. I do kind of I have some sympathy for what he's going through right now but at the same time, I do find the humor in that you're to blame. Like if you just did all this humbly, and if you knew that you were sick, like why aren't you putting out precautionary measures beforehand to kind of like let people know that you're going through some stuff? But he wasn't changing his demeanor at all. He kept true to himself.
I would have rather let the whole Olympics end and then reveal, by the way, I was tested positive for COVID, but I still tried and did it out there, whatever.
It didn't seem like he wanted it to get out. From what I
He,
could tell.
what about getting in the wheelchair?
The
What's
wheelchair's
that?
a bad
I think
look.
he was having a legit like he couldn't breathe attack afterwards.
He also
Yeah.
couldn't win.
Okay, yeah, he didn't win. I'm just
There are other things going on there and we got to acknowledge that COVID does probably compound. It's a respiratory illness. Like
absolutely.
that definitely compounds his asthma.
And it also compounds like as an event goes on. Like if you're before an event and then 20 seconds later it's so bad, I've got to be in a wheelchair. But before it, I can jump and hop and do
before
everything.
he hadn't like sprinted a 200-meter sprint for a medal in the Olympics.
Yeah, he had just-
So I buy it if your asthma acts up after the race.
What if he wins gold? What are we doing if he wins gold? Is he in the wheelchair if he wins gold, or is he running around?
No, he's running around.
He's
Okay.
running around.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
But he is
that's
telling
fair.
us that he won gold while having COVID, for sure.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
definitely revealing
It's a
that.
double-edged sword because on one side, I won bronze, but I'm in a wheelchair, my asthma. But then I overcame if I won gold. I had COVID, I have asthma, like all this stuff. It's like you can't have both sides.
it's safe to assume he does not lose heats. It's safe to assume that he had COVID during the heat as well. So,
Right.
I mean, if you have a guy that's his best event and he loses, I understand. He did all the cocky stuff on the front end. But it's safe to say this had an impact on him.
I don't care.
That's fine. You can
That's-
be a
you know what?
hater.
That's totally
You're
fair.
entitled to being a
I'm
hater.
down with that. Like I'm glad that you're just wearing
I'm
it.
trying to I'm trying to show the other side so this show isn't just like us being a bunch of haters all morning.
No.
I also think that like, we always complain about like, oh, this guy's so boring or like this is boring, the sport's boring, blah blah blah. And so for someone to inject some like personality in it, whether you like it or not, I think generally is fun.